You know, the fun zone is managing resources, it's doing all these different things, it's thinking constantly, it's using the right tool for the job, it's diving into progression. You know, it's what you'll see, shooting weak points of enemies, you know, all these different things. And when they don't play that way, we kill them.
Doom Eternal is a dense game with plenty to talk about, and I wanted to do just that with this second video. The fun zone in Doom Eternal is a subject that has fascinated me ever since I first heard the term during the Noclip interview with Hugo Martin, and it's worth exploring more in detail. The four components that make up the fun zone of Doom Eternal, in my opinion, are fast mobility, switching weapons, weakening and killing enemies, and upgrading your arsenal. When Doom Eternal was in development, id Software gave the player more movement options such as the dash and super shotgun meat hook, but that broke the game. If you power up the player and not do the same to the enemies, then it becomes a boring game to play. According to Hugo Martin, the new player mechanics broke Doom Eternal and the demons felt like pushovers. There was fast mobility, but there also needs to be more urgency within combat, and that is where the best aspect of the game comes in. Every single demon in Doom Eternal is way more aggressive than in Doom 2016, and it makes sense because if you power up the player, you need to power up the bad guys. Mancubi have a huge blast when you get near them that takes a huge chunk of your health away. The Cacodemon rushes towards you and just doesn't stop. id Software polished the chess pieces, if you will, and made it so enemies were much more of a threat, and this is part of the fun zone in Doom Eternal. We have urgency within combat, but there also needs to be utility. In Doom 2016, as I've pointed out, you don't need to use any gun apart from the super shotgun and then you're basically fine. Why is this the case though? Well, it's due to the weapons not having enough utility within the combat. The super shotgun in Doom 2016 was your one-stop shop to destroy everything, and while that might be fun, it doesn't give the player any sense of creativity. Of course, I and other decent players naturally switched weapons, but there was no need to, except for maybe on Nightmare difficulty. Doom Eternal rectifies this by having specific purposes for each gun, but not so specific to where you can only kill one demon with one gun and nothing else. How did they straddle that line and balance the game accordingly? One of the methods they used was with the introduction of enemy weak points and weaknesses. You can read all about each enemy's weakness in the Doom Eternal Codex entries, and I recommend doing so since it's quite interesting what they say. Regardless, the Doom Eternal shield guys can be dismantled using the plasma rifle very easily. That's a pretty unique use for the plasma rifle, but that isn't the only way they can be taken down. You can grapple towards them using the meat hook and then chainsaw them for armor and ammo pickups. You can blood punch them and take out a few at a time, so then you don't have to equip the plasma rifle at all, etc. Doom Eternal teaches you about enemy weaknesses to make you want to switch weapons and play more efficiently, but you aren't directly forced to. If you really want, you can lower the game difficulty and blast everything with the super shotgun. It's not fun to do that in my opinion, but you can. The game definitely doesn't force you to switch weapons. Doom Eternal instead corrals you into the fun zone by teaching the player better ways to kill demons with each gun. Another example is with the Cacodemon and how you learn early on that you can stagger him using the sticky bomb. In the middle of combat, specifically in the tougher parts of the game, you might not have time to line up your shots and sticky bomb him for a stagger, but the option is there. You might want to use the ballista or maybe use him as a vantage point to grapple out of danger. Or you could use the grenade to stagger him instead and then glory kill him. There are plenty of options out there to kill each demon, and that becomes even more apparent with the weak points and gun mods. The weak points are a great addition to Doom Eternal, and they are another aspect of the fun zone. Disabling weak points is fun as fuck, and when you do, it makes an extremely satisfying sound. Weak points also give the game a ton of creativity, as you don't actually have to dismantle an enemy's weak point to kill them, but depending on which situation you're in, it might be a decent idea. Let's say you're going up against the Mancubi, and your grenade is on a cooldown so you can't falter him. He's being a pain in the ass and you want to get out of there, but before you do, you disable his weak point so he doesn't become that much of a threat anymore and you grapple away. Or you can do a number of other things to help you in that situation. That's what I'm saying. People think that Doom Eternal doesn't allow creativity because id Software is trying to make you play a certain way, and that's simply not true. Yes, they obviously want you to weapon switch and dive into the deeper game meta, but they don't force you into anything. Of course, the game will be tougher on you if you're just using the super shotgun, as the monsters are designed to be killed using all of the tools in your arsenal, but it's more than possible to go through the game using one gun. I think id Software has done an amazing job of balancing the game, where each gun has a unique function, but at the same time, it doesn't force you to use each of them either. I'd imagine that would be tough to develop, so hats off to id Software for that. The only time that I can think of where the player needs to use a specific weapon is with the Ancient Gods expansion with the spirits. Similar to Ghostbusters, the player needs to use the microwave beam mod on the plasma rifle to take out the spirits, and I personally don't mind this gimmick. I know it's giving you no other choice but to use the microwave beam, but it's only one enemy that shows up only once in a while. If id Software did the same thing for all of the demons, then yeah, I would be annoyed as well, but it's only for the spirits, in a DLC that you don't even need to purchase. Each enemy's weak points can be taken down with the sticky bomb or the precision bolt instantly, which adds extra utility to the combat shotgun and heavy cannon. Some might criticize the fact that the heavy cannon's precision bolt mod outshines the micro missiles, and to be fair, I can personally see that being the case for most players, but each gun mod is useful in their own way. Most of the gun mods fall into two camps: aggression and preservation. Let's take the heavy cannon as an example. The macro missiles are typically used to clear out a group of enemies and to just lay waste to everything. It is an aggressive gun mod, and by comparison, the precision bolt is for taking out weak points for your own preservation. If you take out the Arachnotron's turrets, he's basically fucked, and you're momentarily safe from his fire. The same dynamic goes for many of the other gun mods for each weapon. The plasma rifle's microwave beam is used to give yourself a breather in combat and to slow down the heavy demons for just a few seconds, in order to preserve your standing in the fight. On the other hand, the heat blast is all about being explosive and destroying everything in your way. This even extends down to the two grenade types, the frag grenade and the ice bomb. The frag grenade is obviously used for destructive purposes, while the ice bomb is used to hold down the forts and to give you a chance to assess your surroundings better and stay alive. These are all genius qualities about Doom Eternal, and the enemy weak points, the utility of the guns, and the customization with the weapon mods and the suit tokens make up the fun zone. Some people might not like this fun zone, and that's fine, but you gotta respect the craftsmanship on display. From the demons to the weapons, id Software deserves a pat on the back, and this weaves into the Ancient Gods DLC. That expansion adds even more environmental hazards and more oppressive elements that engage the player into the experience and attempt to make them the best Doomslayer possible. I plan on making a separate review for the Ancient Gods, and I don't want to spoil any of my thoughts here, so be on the lookout for that. As for the base game, some people have complained about the limited ammo, but it hasn't really gotten the way for me. Yeah, it is kind of a contrived way of making players switch weapons, but if you're already weapon switching and performing all of the actions that make up the fun zone, then you'll rarely find the limited ammo an issue. At least I don't, and chainsawing an enemy in half to get ammo back is satisfying and gives you a quick breather from the fast-paced combat, so it's a win-win. I've also seen people complain about the direct opposite of "this game forces me to switch weapons," as they say that the gunplay is too general, and you can use any weapon you want, similar to the criticism directed at Doom 2016. While I think in Doom 2016 this point is valid and does hinder the game slightly, I do not believe it applies to Doom Eternal. I've laid out several instances of the guns having rather specific purposes, but also id Software needed to strike that balance of not having one gun being the sole method of killing one demon, and so on. I think they succeeded, and did a perfect job with tweaking the game's weaponry. And this has been the Fun Zone in Doom Eternal. Thanks for watching.